What's up, everybody? GSC Invitational Round 2 Winners Bracket. Mr.378 is going to face off against Garay Oak. I don't quite remember who Garay Oak faced off against, but I'll probably write that in the description or in the pinned comments. Now, if you guys haven't already seen some of the previous games, I recommend you do check it out. Join the GSC Invitational Discord and find out how you can also donate to the prize pool. All of that money is going to go to the first three placing players. None of it goes to us, but you know, every contribution, even just by joining that Discord, hitting a like on the video or the subscribe button, is going to help out and in gaining recognition. Help this tournament season grow. Yeah. So this is a best of three, round two, and we're about to see how it's going to go down. Okay, I already clicked on fast and I didn't want to do that. But anyway, we see a lead cloister from Garay Oak with Japanese characters and some kanji mixed with hiragana. I don't know what it says. But we see a thunder from Mr.378. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect, but I wouldn't rule it out of 378 here to bring some form of offense. Hopefully this match is going to have offense and not too much stall. Spike's Cloister lead is pretty interesting. Usually that's usually it means you have like a Raikou in the back to switch into the electrics. So not many offense teams will have Raikou. But so far it's too early to tell, but we do see the switch in from 378 to bring in his Cloister. He's going to, as Garay doubles into Raikou, so there's a bit of back and forth here until someone will just concede and say, okay, fuck it, I'm going to start setting up. And it seems that Mr.378 is the one setting up those curses as Garay Oak is going to set up spikes, but 378 gets a crit on the Cloister there, Okoing it, because he's already at +2. And reveals to have EQ, dealing a lot of damage to that Golem. Pretty risky, actually, to not go for a boom. But at this point, we can already tell that Garay Oak has a double electric team. And it's not going to be very long until spikes may be definitive as far as Mr.378 is concerned, because that Golem looks very weakened. And if Garay Oak doesn't have a Skarmory, that Snorlax may mean a lot of trouble for him. It's too hard to tell right away what could be on a double electric team. Yeah, people bring the weirdest shit sometimes. But that's not to say that it is shit. I'm not trying to dunk on Garay. Just looking at this T-Tar switch in here. Do I have anything to say on that? So he switches into T-Tar right here. And we haven't yet seen a move. I don't think I agree entirely with switching to Zapdos in on a Raikou. Especially if you have seen that it's already Sleep Talk. I suppose he may have had his reasons. But it's also interesting to find out which of the electrics on Garay Oak's team is the Sleep Talker. Normally, well, I can't say that there isn't normally, really, because it's entirely defined by the teammates, but yeah, even this T-Tar looks pretty threatening, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna hope for Gary that his Vaporeon is like Acid Armor or a Baton Pass variant. So we see the EQ from for 378's T-Tar, and this could be a good cue to bring in Cloister, get those spikes off. It outspeeds Vaporeon, so it even threatens a boom. And, ooh, he goes for the Toxic, which unfortunately misses. That could have been a big deal, but so does the Zapdos Thunder. 378 doubles to Lax. Okay. Okay, in comes Vaporeon here. And we know already that this is a Curse EQ Lax, so there's the Acid Armor I mentioned. So 378 is going to be pressed to bring in his Raikou here. Or actually, first go... Yeah, okay, so there's two double X. I think I like 378's slightly more. Although, unfortunately, he didn't manage to get spikes yet. So, and Garay Oak got spikes, so at the very least, he can play a little bit more safe than 378 can. But Garay Oak is opting to preserve PP. I think, personally, it might be nicer to actually go for it, because so far he hasn't really revealed anything besides his Raikou that resists Thunder. And it could be a really big deal. So, judging by the presence also of T-Tar, there could be another phaser in the back. It could be a Skarmory. There could be a Gengar. I would think of a Skarmory. I don't know why. I just think that it has good defensive synergy. But then people that bring double electric teams constantly bring types of teams that are a little bit weak to something. It's just too hard to fit a bunch of things. So this is actually a pretty big deal. So he got quite a few key flinches there while I was drifting off, and Snorlax is in range, Golem is in range of a potential kill, and Vaporeon is weakened and probably doesn't have rest. So it could have rest, but there isn't much that it's able to do at this point. The few things that it does outspeed still deal a lot of damage to it, so it means that there aren't going to be that many entry opportunities for this Vaporeon, which I'm believing was a potential win con for Garay. Judging by how there's Acid Armor and Growth, he might have wanted to pass to something like Zapdos. But for now, there's a standoff between two very angry tigers or dogs. I don't know. So we could have a look at the damage that's being inflicted from one to the other, because I'm not sure we've seen any damage being dealt to Zapdos or Golem from these electric types, so we can't really know for sure what the damage is. But I'm gonna, just for the spectators, I'm going to actually look at the damage calculations between two Raikous here and see what the rolls can be. So, maximum roll, let's make one Hidden Power Water. So that way we have both of the damage calculations. You can't see all of it, but this is, what you see here is thunder damage to an HP Water. Whereas thunder damage to an HP Icemon is a little bit less. So the highest possible roll is 22.8, and the lowest possible roll is 18.5. So if we go back and we just look for hidden power here, so we see one is 17. No, sorry, that's hidden power though. That's not. Sorry, I meant to say thunder. You look for thunder. I'm just showing you how one way that you can find out the damage output. So 20, we said that the maximum was 22 and the minimum was 18.5. So here we see an 18. So that must mean that this Raikou is HP up. Did it do 18 to Raikou though? Is that Raikou? Yeah, that is Raikou. So it did 18.5 to the opposing Raikou, which means that this one's probably HP Ice. All right. I'm not going to spend a million turns trying to find out this stuff, but, you know, at least you know. So Garay making another predict on that Cloister switch in, brings in his Lax, and he's going to gain some leftovers, but it's still in range, and which means that the switch back to the Raikou is going to ward away that Cloister once more, and Mr.378 is yet again without any spikes. Garay Oak is doing a good job at staving off those spikes. So we haven't seen which type of hidden power this Raikou is. But, you know, you can do that for yourself. There are a million ways to do it. You can take any move that this Raikou got hit by. But we have a hunch that this one is probably hidden power ice, as we saw earlier. So that's 19. That's not quite a max roll. So you have to guess off of max or minimum rolls. If we see any more hits, that could be a good indicator. So we get a crunch. Oh. Well then, what the hell? Hang on. I think I made a mistake. So... yeah, wow, I feel stupid. Why did that happen? It clearly says 18% Thunder. Thunder deals 18.5%. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Whatever, so it turns out that Garay's Raikou is Sleep Talk Crunch, which isn't something you see too often. It's not unheard of. But... and we're still we still have to see what the last Pokemon is. So interestingly enough, I kind of like non-Sleep Talk Zapdos more than Roar Raikou, because it has more options. It has Thunder Wave, it has Drill Peck. Raikou doesn't have those moves. It has other things as well. You could pretty viably use Protect on Zapdos. And I'm not even sure if Gen 2 Pokemon can learn Protect. I have to think about that. If Johto Pokemon can learn Protect. Anyway. So that Crunch gets a nice crit there. The only progress we've seen so far is that Garay Oak has been managing to defend pretty well. But he is running out of Sleep Talks. He's going to hope for a Spadef drop, which might force the Raikou out into a rather unpleasant situation. Instead, Garay brings in his Golem. Ooh, and it gets crit. So now the next time Cloister comes in, if it does manage to get those spikes, it's going to be a big deal. But maybe Garay Oak is going to do one of those T-pivots again? Nope. So it looks like spikes are here to stay as soon as he lands them. And there they are. But in return, Garay Oak manages to take out finally one of Mr.378's Pokemon, Cloister, which can put an end to Vaporeon. That said, against the double electric team, there isn't really much that you're going to be able to do. So he stays in, and he's going to have to try and win with his Lax, and that's basically his win con. And he has, of course, Zapdos and Raikou. Ooh, switching in T-Tar on the full para. And it full paras again. Damn. That's pretty... that kind of sucks. This is looking pretty bad. EQ is a guaranteed 2-hit KO. And there it is. And is the Snorlax going to somehow reverse sweep? Probably not. There it is. So that's the end of game one. Mr.378 taking out Garay Oak pretty decisively, if I do say so myself. So we'll move on to game two. Let's swap sides. Change of alts. very well. Fucking music. And the Snorlax Ditto. A lot can be said about two Snorlax Dittos, such as Garay Oak critting the Snorlax and having elevated speed, so it's not likely to KO the Lax, but he definitely has the momentum. And since it's Sleep Talk or Curse EQ, then this 4E comes in for free. And okay, so he brings in the T-Tar on the turn that the Snorlax wakes up. I'm not sure how much I agree with that. Roars in Gengar as he goes to his own Lax, which is probably Sleep Talk, judging by how it switched into the Gengar Hypnosis. As it is then revealed. Then Golem comes in. So he's going to spin, and he's going to basically gain back a lot of that momentum from before. Not to mention that this T-Tar is weakened. I don't know how much I agree with that, because 4E can stay in pretty safely on Curse EQ Lax and kind of screw around with it. You don't want to switch in Lax after one sleep turn has been... switch in T-Tar after one T-Tar... tongue twisters. So, if... like, in this situation here, let's assume we don't know what that last move is. So if I switch in T-Tar right now, then there's a good chance that the next turn he'll burn. Like, if he burns the next sleep turn, then he's just going to go for an attacking move and damage T-Tar or Golem or whatever phaser you have. And if he has EQ, it's going to deal a lot. So, yeah, that's something worth noting. If you go and he hasn't burned any sleep turn, then it's a good idea to switch in your phaser. So we see a Starmie as well, so that's pretty interesting. And then 378 booms on the Snorlax. Pretty big deal. He won't be able to defend spikes, but maybe that's part of the plan. To boom on Starmie or Toxic it. But the Toxic misses. So he may have another shot as he stays in. He goes for spikes again. Is he going to get it, or is he going to full para? He full paras. Commentator's curse. My bad. Oh my god. I didn't do anything this time. It's not my fault. Don't look at me. In comes Snorlax. I guess 378 has had enough. Mr.Numbers is going to start applying that pressure. He's going to set up slowly but surely. Is he going to switch back out? He doesn't have Gengar to switch into anymore. I guess it's going to come down to how much pressure he's going to put with this Snorlax here. He sets up one more curse. Gary is switching to Zapdos. This Zapdos is dead. Why did he stay in? Okay. I mean, he could have his reasons. This Snorlax may also be past its point here, or he's going to take advantage of that and attempt a belly drum sweep. No, he's going to go back to his T-Tar, being ambiguous as ever, and he phases out the Lax. Okay, and we see another Starmie on this end. So Spiker plus Starmie core on either end. But what I'm going to guess is that this Starmie is Nightmare Starmie. So Mr.378 might be using the famous team used by Fear with sub-Nightmare Starmie. Garay Oak missing with Toxic. This could be Boom 4E or Rest 4E. So we see a Hidden Power Fire, probably. Not Ghost, that's for sure. And a Boom. But this Snorlax is up and kicking. It can still do a lot of damage. Or just rest. That's either way. It's at +2. Even a Belly Drum Quagsire isn't going to be able to do much. Unless it crits. Oh, never mind. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, that was quite a lot. I sound like a dummy, but still, it's not an Oko. Just gonna switch in the Cloister there. Sack it. And Golem outspeeds Quagsire, so he can either be going for a 50-50 and boom. Yes, he goes for the boom. Garay Oak sacking Starmie here, but no more Spiker from Mr.378. He's going to bring his own Starmie and goes for the Nightmare on Sleep Talk Snorlax. Really good call. Next turn, damage roll. There we go, the recoil, and it's down. And now it's Starmie versus T-Tar. This should be a breeze. Yeah, it's non-spinner Starmie. And Zapdos as the last, of course. Goes for the hidden power just to keep that Quagsire out of Belly Drum range. And he can go freely back to his Starmie. As long as it doesn't get crit, it should be fine. And it looks like this is a game that is going to be, well, coming to a conclusion quite shortly. Save any strange exceptions. T-Tark being hit by Surf means that the game is over. So, there it is. As Starmie subs up and goes for the signature Nightmare. Or no. Oh man, I haven't made a single good call in this match at all. Alright. Near 3-hit KO. Goes for sub. Recover. Belly Drum. I'm just fast forwarding here because there is really... Okay. Not much that can be done. So if you guys enjoyed this game, I know I have, although you're gonna have to excuse me for a couple of my blunders there. Remember to like and stay tuned, subscribe if you will, and then you'll just find some more updates in future games for the GSC Invitational. All right, stay tuned. There will be more replays in the future, I hope. I've been a little bit busy this week, but I think I'll be a little bit more up to date with round 3. All right. Peace.